The pitch on the way. Leahy gets a ground ball to Contreras right next to the bag. He steps on first. That's a Redbird winner. Light it up downtown St. Louis. Set off the fireworks as the Cardinals have taken 2 out of 3 from the Phillies, winning 2-0 Friday, and another shutout 7-0 today.
What a way to finish off the weekend. No doubt about it. Joe Pot with you. It is the Extra Innings Show. We're with you from Busch Stadium here, and you can join us in a variety of ways, of course, at 104.1 FM at 11:20 a.m. on the Odyssey app, but you can also join us on all the KMOX socials. We are there as well on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, and we're happy to take your comments as well and react to those comments. Also, you can hit us up the traditional way, if you will, the old landline, 314-436-7900. I guess you don't have to use a landline. You can call us from your cell phone, 314-436-7900. Happy to take your comments, your questions, your calls. The Extra Innings Show is presented by Gray Bar. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. With us here, well, I've got Matt Rocchio and Jonathan Camp in the studio. Appreciate all the help that they've given us all afternoon. What a good day for the Cards, as I said, coming on. I don't think there is much to dislike about this game. And in all honesty, there's not a ton to dislike about this series. Yes, they lost yesterday afternoon, but they were up against a really good pitcher in Christopher Sanchez, and Oliver Marmol has said that a couple of times. It's not anything that you certainly dwell on. In fact, the way he kind of termed it today was, in 162 games, you're going to run into games that you just don't win. That's just the reality of it. There was not anything major there. Nick's giving us a comment. I'll comment on his comment because it made me chuckle. He said, has there ever been a more annoying Cardinals team? Clearly, they can compete with the best and win. Libby looks so good today. And that's a really good point, right? But here's what I'll tell you is I think that is because unfortunately, Nick, I'll tell you probably can expect more of that. And the reason why is because they are going to be depending on some younger guys. And I think that's where you're going to see some inconsistencies. And I think obviously we've seen that already in the first 14 games of this season that there's going to be some inconsistencies. But you're right. The upside is really good for this team. I think the upside is there that they can compete and they can win. And that's going to be if those younger guys get locked in. And Matthew Liberatore, quite honestly, I think is going to be a big part of that because Matthew Liberatore in the past as a starter hasn't always been as good about maybe pitching around the traffic that he had today, or maybe pitching, putting away a hitter. Maybe you get to that full count and you can't put him away and you walk that batter as opposed to putting them away. He was so good today, locked in, especially after that third inning, and then really kind of cruised. And obviously the rest of the bullpen did the same. Bill also commenting on how good Matthew Liberatore looked. And I noted this in the pregame show that a big thing about Matthew Liberatore was going to be the length that he was able to give you. That's now 3 starts that he has gone at least 6 innings. 2 of them quality starts, including today. And today's walk, the only one he has thrown all year. And it was a 2-out walk in the first. And guess what? He came right back to strike out Nick Castellanos. So it was not anything you worry about. So really good outing from the Cardinals left-hander today. I do want to let you hear a little bit from Matthew Liberatore. I know we have a little bit of post-game audio from the Cards starter, so we'll get that up for you here in just a minute or two. And maybe if we get to that point, we might have a little bit from Wilson Contreras as well. If you heard our network show, we did hear from Wilson Contreras, but I know that he was really good in the clubhouse later on as well. Let's get to Matthew Liberatore. Let's let you just hear from the Cards starter. Here's Matthew Liberatore after the game.
Yeah, I think the focus is the same as the previous outings. Looking to go out and execute pitches, and we had a really good game plan today going into it. Felt like I was spraying it a little bit in those first couple innings, and then was able to dial in the command.
A lot of fastballs today. What was working for you, would you say?
I think just the ability to change it up, keep them off balance, working in, out, up, down, hard, soft. I think kind of combination of everything.
We talked about continuous progression your last start in Pittsburgh, and always been candid about your place in the rotation, how it's not a spot start situation, how it's solidified. How has that helped you evaluate your own progress?
Yeah, I think it's really helped me double down on how I evaluate things and looking at execution and looking at my processes and routines. I've been given a much more stable runway to kind of plan my days and make sure I'm maximizing my time at the field every day, instead of kind of just spitballing based off what I find out the schedule might be that day. So in terms of preparation and processes, that's helped me quite a bit.
Second time Pozo caught you. I know you guys kind of figured things out that first. How is he behind the plate?
I love working with Pozo. He's very open to doing whatever I want. He takes his notes. He does his homework. He reads swings. He's paying attention to the game. So he's been a joy to work with so far.
I know you want to beat everybody, but when it's a pretty good Phillies lineup, is that an added boost when you walk away with those innings?
Yeah, I mean, you take what you can from it. At the end of the day, I'm going out and trying to execute pitches, and that's how I'm trying to judge my outing and not necessarily who I'm facing. So, yeah, it's cool to beat them. That's a really good team to take a series from. I think we played really good baseball all 3 games, and hopefully we can keep this rolling.
With the mix today, with the heavy on the slider, how much of that was read and react, and how much of that was sort of like looking at going in terms of an aggressive lineup that's going to get after the fastball?
Yeah, I think part of it's knowing what's going to play to certain guys in certain counts in certain situations, knowing how aggressive guys are. And then I'd say 80% of it is reading the game, reading the swings, reading the reactions that you're getting off the previous pitches that you throw, and then making a decision based off that.
When Rojas tried to run his way on for the second and third and get that third out, I mean, how much do you look at that play as kind of being a key part in keeping them where they're at scoreless and get, kind of rolling from there?
Yeah, that's huge. If, I don't make that play, they score. And who knows what that does for the momentum on both sides. So, thanks for a bad bunt and letting me get an out.
Is there awareness down there getting the last 20 in a row as that game is building, or is that a thing where after you're like, oh, that was 20 guys in a row from the staff?
I didn't even know that was the number, but bullpen came out and did a phenomenal job of just staying on the attack, not letting them have any breathing room, and then for us to end up getting a Wheeler after he was at like 30 pitches in the 4th inning, and then continuing to pour it on when the bullpen came out. That's just we can't ask for more than that.
Big time, no question about it. He was talking about the bullpen and picking up right where he left off. Right, 6 innings scoreless from him, but it doesn't matter, right, if the bullpen comes in and coughs it up, and that's not the case. And it wasn't even that there was a question. There was never a threat from the Phillies after that point. Really, I'd say there wasn't a threat from the Phillies really after the second, legitimately. Bryce Harper singled with an out in the 3rd. He ends up stealing second base, but Schwarber and Castellanos struck out after that. And then again, there wasn't a base runner after that point. This is the Extra Innings Show. It's presented by Gray Bar. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Again, we'll take your call if you want to call us here, 314-436-7900. But also, please feel free to comment on our video. All the socials there, YouTube, Facebook, X. We're available, all of those. We've already heard from Nick and from Bill today, and I certainly appreciate that. I do want to hear a little bit from Wilson Contreras. I know he was a little bit longer winded in the clubhouse than he was after the game. If you heard our network show, he was with Mike Claiborne, but he was in a good mood. Of course, he was in a good mood. Big 2-hit day, first home run of the year from Wilson Contreras. Here he is after the game.
We've been playing great ball from day one. The energy has been there. We have everybody's back, and I'm glad that my teammates are always by my side, supporting me and saying like, from me to them. That's the way I feel.
How do you handle the struggles? How do you stay upbeat? I know you're an upbeat guy. How do you handle it?
I think just having trust in yourself, first and foremost. Putting your mind in a great spot where you don't have to overthink or be afraid of something. It's some skill that I've been developing during the off season. I think God is touching me from right now, from what I've seen, the thing that I've seen. But I think keeping everything within myself, keeping my head up high, being positive, supporting my teammates, and just knowing that it's about the team it makes me feel a lot better.
You guys should have noticed, but did not yesterday. Did you switch the bat yesterday or for today's game?
If you watch the game, you let me know.
I know. I got to go back and look.
Okay. Yes, since yesterday.
Did that unlock something you feel like for you, or just maybe a little change gets you back to where you
I think maybe more mentally than anything else, because physically you can do all the stuff and you can practice and be great at practice, but Mentally, I think is the base of everything. I switched back to Tucci. I had to try the torpedo because everybody is doing it. I've been hitting with them since 2019. The X and the helped my swing, and I went back to it. I'm not gonna say that's the reason for me to start making contact, but just be patient, trust myself, and I know that everything will be fine at the end of the year.
Did you use the off day to kind of work with it? Did you swing it on?
Well, how about everywhere? How about here? How about at my house? So yes, during the off day, I was down in my basement, trying to find myself, thinking of my swing, thinking of my feeling, and I think I found it for a little bit, and I had to. I'm planning to on keep going.
You guys have been really good at home, 6-3 now. Do you think that'll energize the fans, maybe to come out more as we get closer to summer?
I mean, we play for them. I don't know why they're not here. I mean, they have their reason. I'm not saying no, but you guys know that we play for you guys and we need you guys. But you guys give us energy, and one thing that I'm gonna say is that don't stop believing in this team, because we have everything in this clubhouse that I'm gonna say it because I feel like it. We have everything in this clubhouse to compete, and the energy that we've been showing from day one until now is amazing.
You think the more you win here at home too, then they walk away? Hey, that was fun. Hey, he's a good player. He's
Yeah,
good.
for
You think
sure.
they
I mean,
learn?
I think fans they always want the best for the team. I understand that, but we have the best out here. We have the best in this clubhouse. We have to believe in ourselves, like you said, and the fans need to believe in ourselves because that's the way I feel like we want to play. And if we, I know we're in April right now, but if we clinch a playoff, they all want to show up. So show up right now, support ourselves. We play for you guys and gonna do the best. We're human. We make mistakes. We play bad sometimes, but baseball is every day, and we have to turn the page.
How would you not want to come out and see that guy, right? Like, I mean, he's begging for it, but he's not begging for it, he's pleading for it, but he's engaging when he does so. Now, I did find it interesting that he's using now that torpedo type bat, because when we talked to him during the opening weekend and there was such a fuss about it, a fury about it that the Yankees were doing it, he said he mentioned that he had been hitting or he had tried it and it just wasn't for him. And so obviously, things change, I guess, if you're in a big slump to start the season. But he certainly feels better. He obviously, also said it was patience, things like that. Good to hear from Wilson Contreras. And a big thanks to Kyle Sixta, who's in the Cardinals clubhouse, gathering that audio for us for all of us to hear and to use. We'll take a break here on the Extra Innings Show. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up after a 7-0 Phillies Cardinals win over the Phillies. I'm Joe Pott. We're coming right back.
There's a swing and a long drive, deep left field. Walker has just hit a home run to left. A 2-run shot. 7-0 Cardinals.
It was a monster shot, too. No doubt about it. 112 off the bat. That's in the 99th percentile, according to StatCast, as far as exit velocity. went just about 400 feet to left. Second home run of the day for the Redbirds. Wilson Contreras did it in the 4th inning. All in all, a really good day. And honestly, a really good series for the Redbirds against the Phillies. I mentioned this earlier. They haven't beaten the Phillies. They haven't taken a series from the Phillies since 2017. So, we talked about this being maybe a frustrating type team. And hopefully that is something that changes as you go on, right? Because, again, I think you'll get a little bit of it because you've got some younger players. But if you're doing things the right way, then those younger players become more experienced. They start learning from their experience. They start becoming more consistent, and therefore you have less of that frustration that we talked about. And Bill added a comment for us. For the most part of the year, the runners in scoring position has been much better for this team. And that's the truth. They were 3 of 11 today, but certainly feel like that they were taking advantage when they had guys on base. Look at that 6th inning, for example. Brendan Donovan with the ground rule double. He just drops it down the left field line and hops over the fence. Nolan Arenado follows with the double, which he drives through the left side of the infield. That scores a run. And then Nolan Gorman drops the ground rule double. Very similar to what Donovan did. Donovan's was deeper down the left field line. But again, taking advantage. You get a runner on, you get him in. You get a runner on, you get him in twice in the 6th. And then in the 8th inning, Contreras doubled ahead of that Walker home run. So getting those kind of hits in those kind of situations certainly, I think, makes it feel less frustrating than certainly what we've seen over the last 2 years, right? In 2023, without a doubt. But last year, I think it was a lot of that as well. And I think a lot of that comes from the inconsistency. Still have time for a couple of comments. If you want to get in, 314-436-7900, but also feel free to hit me on X if you want. I'm at Joe Pot on air, so I will answer anything there. But easiest way is just comment on our stream. It's available at YouTube, at X, on Facebook. So we're all of those places. You can comment there, and I'll be happy to respond to that as well. What's on Deck is brought to you by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best, chesterfieldfence.com. What's on Deck is a 3-game set with the Astros, which begins tomorrow here at Busch Stadium. No Monday off day. They're right back at it. 6:45 first pitch tomorrow, and it's a 5:50 time for the Ameren Total Access pregame show here with Matt Pauley. Sonny Gray will make the start. He's 2-0 with a 4.5 ERA, and he's up against Framber Valdez. He is 1-1 with a 2.50 earned run average so far this year. So they're right back at it, and then they'll be back on the road. They go to New York and also to Atlanta. That's their next road trip. So that's what is in store for this team. And then, believe it or not, we're out of April. I mean, that's where we're at in this situation after, not quite. They've got a couple more, but you're close to being out of April. Let's put it that way. You've got Houston coming in here, the Mets in Atlanta on the road, back home for a quick series with Milwaukee, and then you finish it out with Cincinnati. But you're getting to that point, right? You're getting to that point where you feel like the early part of the season should be behind you. Again, some of those inconsistencies should start coming around. You get a really good idea, I think, of what you have with regards to the players, the rotation. We talked yesterday about Miles Mikolas and how bad he looked against Boston. And I mentioned that when Oliver Marmol appeared here on this station last week, one of the things he said was, yeah, there might be options. There might be options, whether it comes to the bullpen or whether it comes to using somebody from Memphis, but it wouldn't happen now. And I want to get to John real quick. I almost missed this. John's on the line. He's given us a call. John, welcome to the Extra Innings Show.
Yeah, I appreciate your taking my call. I just feel like last year, a lot of these guys were kind of on edge. Yeah, I appreciate showing up and knowing what position they're playing and being kind of spinning around. And how much is that going to be an emphasis this year? If that's going to be kind of what gets us in our groove and gets us in a kind of a confident mode, or if that was inhibiting our winning last year or in our chemistry, if that's something they're focused on right now.
John, I appreciate it. And it's a good point. So John was asking about consistency of certainly playing time, and I think to a lesser extent, right, spot in the lineup, things like that, but where your position's at. But you have seen fairly consistent playing time for like a Jordan Walker. At least to this point, every day, Lars Nootbaar is going to be there in the top of the order. Now, Wilson Contreras has dropped down to that 5 spot, so there's going to be some shifting that way. But I think you're right, John. I think you make a nice point in that these guys realize, and that's what we were told, right? That's what we were sold, if you will, coming in, was there was going to be more runway, more leeway for these younger guys. Let me see if I can get to Ed real quick. Can I still get to Ed? Ed, you're on the line. Thanks for calling the Extra Innings Show.
Yeah, long time Cardinal fan. Great game today. I was down there, and it's good seeing the young kids and the semi-veterans play so well. I wanted to correct you or comment on last week I called about the scoreboard. Very upset about the way they've set it up. You can't see both teams' lineups at the same time. And we disagreed about other teams' scores. There are no other team scores on any scoreboard in the stadium. They are being shown at Ballpark Village, which half the stadium can't see. So I think, and I'm going to write the Cardinals need to go back to that right field scoreboard, having other team scores and other information. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Man, I appreciate it, Ed. And that's interesting because that was a comment. That was a big topic of in the press box during opening day and that opening weekend. They were talking about the new stuff that's appearing on the scoreboard. What they're doing, if you haven't been to a game, is on that secondary scoreboard that's in right field. They're running a lot more of the pitches. So you're seeing what the pitches are. You're seeing some of the metrics on the pitches. And the only place that is showing out-of-town scores now, as Ed correctly stated, is in Ballpark Village. Now, in some places you can see that as part of the stadium, but not in all places. And obviously that's not a Camo X thing. That's definitely a Cardinals thing worth pointing out. And I appreciate you doing so, Ed, and I appreciate you taking the time and reaching out. Sam gives us a comment. Take 2 out of 3 of Philly. You fall to 4th place. Baseball isn't fair. Isn't that the truth, man? It certainly feels that way sometimes. That's what you get when you play every day, and everybody plays every day. It just doesn't seem like it is fair. We'll wrap things up here from Busch Stadium. I know Matt Rocchio in the studio is probably mad at me. We went over a little bit of time, and I apologize, but I wanted to get the comments and the calls in, and I appreciate everybody being a part of the Extra Innings Show. I'll be honest, I don't get a ton of interaction during the weekend, so you guys have made my day as well. And what a good series from the Redbirds as they win it today, 7-0, go along with a 2-0 win on Friday night, and they win the series over the Philadelphia Phillies. Again, big thanks to the voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney, to Rick Horton, Mike Claiborne, Jim Jackson upstairs in the booth here, Kyle Sixta on the post-game audio, Jonathan Camp and Matthew Rocchio there in the studio right there at Camo X. We appreciate them. I'm Joe Pott. Keep it here. We're on your home of the Cardinals. It's 104.1 FM, Camo X.